I get it. When a friend of mine was about to upgrade his rig for the next-gen titles, he was torn between spending a few hundred on a fancy case and actually protecting that massive investment from power hiccups. He'd heard the buzz about Sinewave UPS units but also saw the price tag and thought, do I really need that? I was in the same spot a few months ago, so I dug into how a UPS actually fits into a gaming PC setup before I hit buy. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what makes a UPS different from a cheap surge protector. A surge protector just shunts spikes, but it does nothing when the grid drops, sags, or goes out completely. A true uninterruptible power supply keeps the lights on literally by pulling from its internal batteries the moment the wall voltage falters. For a high-end gaming PC that can draw close to 3 kilowatts under load, you want something that not only supplies enough wattage but also delivers clean, sine wave power so your power supply unit, PSU, stays in its sweet spot. That's where the CyberPower PR3000RTXL2UACN comes in. At a glance, the unit offers 3000 VA/3000 W of capacity, which is a perfect match for most enthusiast rigs that run a 1200 W or 1500 W PSU with a couple of monitors, a streaming deck, and a few peripherals. The fact that it's a true sine wave model means the output mimics the smooth AC waveform you get from the wall. That matters because many modern PSUs and graphics cards are very sensitive to waveform distortion. A modified sine wave can cause subtle instability, especially when you're pushing the GPU clock high or running an overclocked CPU. In practice, I've seen a few streamers lose frames or even crash during a sudden voltage dip, and a sine wave UPS eliminates that risk. One of the standout practical features is the 8 NEMA 520R outlets plus a single NEMA 530R. Those aren't just numbers on a spec sheet, they translate into real-world flexibility. In my own rig I plug the main PC, a 4K monitor, a USB-C hub for my desk lamp, a router, and even a small external SSD enclosure into the standard outlets. The L530R is a lock-in type that's perfect for a high-draw device like a professional audio interface or a small server that you want to keep running during a blackout. The mix of outlet types means you don't need a separate power strip or a second UPS just to cover everything, which saves desk space and reduces cable clutter. The LCD panel on the front is another thing that feels genuinely useful once you get past the initial setup. It's a multifunction display you can tilt or rotate, so whether your desk faces a window or you have the unit tucked into a rack, you can still read battery status, load percentage, and voltage levels without pulling out a phone. The panel also lets you switch between battery, bypass, and runtime modes with a couple of taps, something that's surprisingly handy when you're in the middle of a raid and the power flickers. Pair that with CyberPower's Smart app, and you get push notifications on your phone when the battery starts to deplete or when the UPS detects a serious voltage sag. That kind of early warning can give you enough seconds to hit save and quit instead of losing a hard-won boss kill. Automatic voltage regulation, AVR, is another piece of the puzzle that often gets glossed over in marketing copy. AVR smooths out brownouts and overvoltages without dipping into the battery, which means the UPS saves its stored energy for the moments you truly need it, like an outright outage. In areas where the grid is notoriously noisy, that translates into fewer unnecessary battery discharges and a longer overall lifespan for the internal cells. For a gamer who lives in a region with frequent utility flickers, that can be the difference between a UPS that sits idle most of the time and one that actually extends its service life. Now, let's get honest about the trade-offs. The PR3000RTXL2UACN is a 2U rack-mountable unit, which makes it a solid fit for a dedicated server rack or a well-ventilated case under a desk, but it's not the most portable piece of equipment. It weighs close to 70 pounds, so if you're thinking about moving it from a home office to a college dorm or a friend's place, you'll need a dolly or at least 2 strong hands. The size also means you need a bit of breathing room. Ventilation isn't optional because the battery cooling fan runs continuously when the UPS is under load. In a cramped setup, you might notice a low hum that some users find mildly annoying during long gaming sessions. Battery maintenance is another hidden cost. The unit comes with a 3-year warranty that covers the batteries, which is generous compared to many competitors, but the warranty won't last forever. After 3 to 5 years, the batteries will lose capacity, and you'll need to replace them to keep the runtime realistic. CyberPower does offer replacement packs, but that's an extra expense you should factor.